Yep, this vacuum cleaner is genuinely impressive. And the proper pronunciation of its name is Roborock Q Revo Curv. So, what makes it stand out beyond the fancy name? First off, it's a climbing robot. In the ad, it clears 1.6-inch thresholds with ease. Second, it comes with the new Duo Wide brush, great for deep carpet cleaning and doesn't tangle hair. The third highlight, a retractable mop and side extender. It's built to clean right up against the walls. And there's more. It's equipped with smart navigation and object recognition. Your cat's revenge for bath time? Not happening again. Finally, reason number 5. Absurd suction power. It's rated at 18.5 kilopascals, nearly as strong as a stick vacuum. Time to see how it performs in the real world, in this signature review by Bastrobot. Let's start with what's inside the box. A quick start guide and setup instructions, a sleek garage-style docking station. The vacuum itself is glossy white with a ton of sensors. We'll check them later. You'll find mop discs preloaded with cloth pads. They need to be attached to the robot. A spare dust bag. One is already installed in the dock. 2 manuals, one for safety, one for operation. Plus a quick guide if you're rushing out the door. There's also a Hello Rocky command card. The global version only understands English voice commands. As for accessories, it's all essentials. Just what's needed to get it running. The specs are impressive, especially that suction rating. The design follows the Q Revo series style. A rounded body with a lighter turret near the bumper, rectangular sensor window, and a top lid dustbin. Let's dive into the details. The lighter here includes a pressure sensor, which is great, because the total height of the unit is 4.05 inches. That means it might not fit under some couches. Up front, there are 2 buttons. One to start cleaning, one to send it home. Everything else is handled in the app.
Starting to clean.
This time, the top panel is fully removable. It's held by magnets and rubber seals. The engineers nailed the small things. Under the panel, there's a QR code for pairing, a reset button, and a compact dustbin. You'll also notice the exhaust port is smaller than usual, likely to improve suction. The bin itself is small, with a single HEPA filter and no flap. The waste exit channels are well sealed. That helps prevent any air leaks. No groundbreaking changes here. Now let's check out the front sensors. Inside the rectangular window, we likely have an RGB camera, a 3D sensor, and a built-in light. This reactive AI system is designed to detect objects, and we'll definitely test that. On the side, you'll see cutouts in the bumper for the side brush and wall sensor. On the back, there's the exhaust grill, a parking wheel with a position sensor underneath, charging contacts, water tank inlets, and the debris release valve. So, what's going on underneath? The wheels have deep treads, which helps with all-terrain movement. There are 5 floor sensors, including one paired with the caster, which lets the robot back up accurately. The ultrasonic carpet sensor is also here. The main brush frame has dual suspension, as expected from Roborock since the Series 7. Legacy tech is alive and well, and we love that. Now let's talk about the main innovation. A split turbo brush. It's basically 2 compact rollers with rubber fins and bristles, with a space in between to collect tangled hair. Engineers claim this system is practically maintenance-free. Maybe just clean the ends once a month. And that dual-arm side brush, it's specifically designed to avoid wrapping up long strands of hair. Even the caster wheel has its own self-cleaning mechanism. It's designed to stay debris-free at all times. In the back, we have 2 thick microfiber mops, typical for this brand. The disc holders are standard Q Revo style with magnetic attachments for easy removal. One of the mop discs extends sideways for edge cleaning, but when powered off, it locks back in. As for the liftable suspension, it's not visible, so we'll check how it behaves in testing. Now let's take a closer look at the dock. If this station reminds you of the Imperial March, don't worry. That's just your synesthesia kicking in. Unlike previous models, the Curv's base now has a lid that conceals the tanks inside. This makes wiping it down easier, and the design now looks more refined and integrated overall. At the end of the day, the robot drives up onto ribbed tracks, unloads debris through a gasketed port, refills its water tank using a quick connector, scrubs the mop against a heated ring, and finishes by drying with warm airflow. all automatically. You can remove the base tray and rinse it under a faucet, though you won't need to often. Scrapers rotate under the ring to clean off any buildup. Even the swing arms and mesh guard can be detached and washed. However, the ramp itself sadly isn't removable. So after heavy testing, you'll need to scrub it manually while still attached to the dock. Water tanks and the dust bag are installed from the top. The dust bag is proprietary with a standard plastic collar. The fresh water tank is bigger and easier to handle. It's marked with a white drop icon. Inside, there's a hose, a float, and something embedded at the bottom. Probably a disinfecting element, maybe even a silver ion plate. If you know what it is, leave a comment. The dirty water tank is marked with a gray droplet and is much simpler. Just a float and a chamber. The dock has decent capacity and the size is easy to remember. This version isn't made for plumbing hookups. There's only a sealed service port in the back. If you want a fully autonomous setup, look for the mini dock with plumbing support. But that model isn't available yet. To connect it, you'll need the Roborock app and a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi router. Scan the QR code, press the pairing buttons, and enter your Wi-Fi info. Setup is fast and smooth. No region lock issues. Once paired, the robot maps your home in 8 minutes. It shows large zones with no furniture. And where it found a mirror, it even mapped a phantom room. On screen, you'll see a full list of app features. Pause the video if you want to review them all. Let's highlight the best. You can tweak every room: suction strength, water level, number of passes, zigzag density, or just let AI handle it all, and it's called Smart Plan. In this mode, the bot monitors how dirty the mops get, and will launch extra cleaning cycles on its own if needed. You can also set how often the dock rinses the mops, by time or by room. You can adjust water usage, temperature, dust suction power, and drying time. There are different carpet cleaning algorithms we'll be testing later. We'll also check how well it recleans when it finds a dirty patch. Besides cleaning along the floorboards, there's a new cross-routing mode. The bot changes direction with every cleaning pass, improving single-pass coverage. You can customize obstacle avoidance sensitivity, which helps fine-tune how the robot reacts to your space. You can even allow it to take pet photos and more. You can remote connect to the robot and drive it around with an on-screen joystick. Useful if you want to check in on your cat while you're out. Voice control is included. Here's how it works. Hello, Rocky.
I'm here.
Just vacuum.
Switch to mop.
In this case, it started vacuuming the entire apartment. Say, clean here, and it'll respond.
I am trying to find you. Stay there and wait a moment.
Then drive straight to where you're standing and clean that spot. Roborock Q Revo Curv is packed with smart features. But there's one thing it still can't do. Clean under curtains. Now, let's test how it handles obstacles. It's steered carefully around a small object, just in case. Its navigation system rates the danger of each item and adjusts the route accordingly. It didn't bump any plant pots, regardless of whether they were black or white. Next test, it failed the loose cable test. At first it paused, then boldly drove over it. It also didn't recognize a standalone mirror, marked it with a cone instead. Overall, object recognition on the Curv is solid, but some quirks still need improvement in future updates. In the dark, obstacle detection works noticeably worse. It just spun in place near a sneaker and dragged a phone charger completely out of sight. Even with built-in lights, it's best to run this robot during the day. This model doesn't detect puddles. It keeps going as if nothing's there. If your pet can't wait for you to get home and the robot starts mopping, it's no big deal. During wet cleaning, the turbo brush module lifts up and stays dry. But if it begins full cleaning, things can get messy. Here you can see coffee stains in the chute. Some debris gets into the bin, or worse, the motor. So try to avoid that. For the stain detection test, I used soy sauce as usual and let it dry on laminate flooring. Running the robot in Smart Plan mode, it cleaned along the walls and zigzagged the room. No change in behavior was noticed, and no special markers appeared on the map. As of now, the advertised feature doesn't work. As expected, navigation inside the room is flawless. The robot follows the wall closely and avoids curtains, though if you want under-window cleaning, lifting them helps. The side sensor worked perfectly, even guiding it in a straight line along dark-colored baseboards. The drying rack didn't cause any issues. It first cleaned the area in front, then went around the tubes, but didn't go under the rack itself. That's a small downside. It noticed the legs of a coffee table and lightly brushed past them. Same with other furniture legs, white chrome or cabinet legs. The robot handles them all gently. On carpet, Q Revo Curv behaves exactly as said in the app. First, it can lift the mop pads. Ads show it raising its body on thick rugs to increase clearance, but in reality, that feature doesn't exist. In practice, it just lifts the mop pads about 0.4 inches. If you've somehow made it lift the whole chassis, let us know in the comments. Second, it can avoid carpets, and does it quickly by tracing the exact edge. That only works because I marked the rug zone in the app. Third, it can also mop over the carpet using rotating pads. That's useful for rubber mats if you have those in your home. Dark flooring isn't an issue for this bot. It drives across it in any direction without confusion. The entryway mat came out clean, and it never once tried to jump to its death. The floor sensors do their job. You don't need virtual walls near stairs. Thresholds are where things get interesting. Ads say Curv can climb up to 1.6 inches, but the website reveals it's really 1.2 inches plus a 0.4 inch add-on. That detail matters. Here's how it performs in real-world tests. The robot ignores small door thresholds entirely. It just drives over them. A 0.6 inch bump makes it pause, reverse, lift the nose, and then charge forward to get over. It uses the same strategy on a 0.8 inch step, raising the front and pushing ahead. It climbs over easily. Now for the claimed 1.2 inch test. It lifts the whole body and pulls one wheel over but can't drag the second. So it rolls back to retry. On the second try, it changed tactics, shifted the left wheel over first, then lifted the right one dramatically, only to roll back again. On the third attempt, it finally got the move right and climbed over. Interestingly, it handled the return trip much faster. I also tested a 1.4 inch barrier, and that one was impossible, no matter how many tries. So yes, the adaptive suspension does activate when it detects a marked threshold. The max climbable height is 1.2 inches. Since the full height of the robot is 4.05 inches, it needs at least 4.13 inches of clearance to fit under furniture. I recommend measuring under your couches and cabinets before picking this model. The Curv cleans your home room by room, following the plan exactly without missing spots or making extra moves. The high-capacity battery runs for over 90 minutes on max suction. After a full clean, the bin was packed with all kinds of debris, from crumbs and hair to stray cotton swabs knocked off by coffee mugs. Pet hair was packed under the HEPA filter, but the turbo brush stayed completely clean. Not a single strand, not even a clump. So far, the detangling system works brilliantly. I'll check the brush again later to confirm. Noise levels were similar to earlier models, now between 52 and 58 decibels. That's about 17% quieter than the market average. The vacuum is very comfortable to use in a single room, which is impressive given its advertised 18.5 kilopascal suction power. But just how powerful is the Q Revo in real-world use? We'll find out after conducting a suction test. The robot makes several runs over the test stand at maximum power. The directions vary on longitudinal, crosswise, and diagonal. Here's what it was able to achieve. It cleared a 0.08 inches gap with dotted lines and strips. A 0.15 inches gap was cleared in several places with strips. The 0.25 inches gap was thoroughly cleaned, with the center fully cleared in one continuous line. The 0.3 inches gap was cleared in one spot, though a slight strip remained, so we'll count it. It even managed to reach the bottom in two spots of the 0.4 inch gap. In general, the suction power of the vacuum is very high, though not record-breaking. Will it help with cleaning on different surfaces? Let's check. The cleaning method is standard. 2 passes along the walls and then zigzagging. The vacuum efficiently collects dust and debris. After cleaning the perimeter, only a small square of debris remains in the center, but even that disappears quickly under the brushes of the Q Revo Curv. On the second pass, the cleaning improves even more. The secret to its success lies mainly in the retractable side brush. It sweeps dust from deep corners and clears them completely after just 2 passes. The robot handles sand effortlessly. After just a few passes, it cleans well along the walls, thoroughly sweeps the main space, and even the seams look spotless. A wet cloth confirms that no sand remains in the central areas. However, in the corners, the side brush didn't perform perfectly. There was a 0.4-inch blind spot, which affected the overall result. On carpet, the vacuum adjusted its cleaning method, making 2 passes over the stand in a cross pattern, which will be noted when assigning scores. One advantage of this model is that the side brush continues to work on carpets. This allows the vacuum to pick up debris in peripheral areas, though not flawlessly. On shaggy carpets, the side brush clearly lacks firmness. The peripheral areas remain quite dirty. The central area looks relatively clean, but upon closer inspection you can still see some small debris moving around. Despite a few minor imperfections, the dry cleaning quality of this model is top-notch, especially on laminate floors. It's one of the few vacuums that earned a perfect score for cleaning up debris of various sizes. The main brush remains clean, with no signs of hair buildup. The Roborock Q Revo Curv lives up to its name and truly does not tangle hair on the brush. We give it a check mark. After cleaning, the robot automatically empties its dustbin at the station. In maximum mode, the emptying process lasts for 20 seconds. The noise level during this time reaches 70 decibels. All the debris collected from the house is completely emptied into the bag. What about extreme tests? I filled the dustbin with sunflower seeds, sand, mixed cereal, and cat litter. The station handled all of these tasks with 100% efficiency. The additional test with compacted pet hair also went smoothly. The station handles all types of debris and is not afraid of shedding or messy pets. Now, let's move on to wet cleaning. Its quality will depend heavily on the route taken. The robot can quickly glide across the room even without cleaning along the walls, or it can clean slowly in tight zigzags. After pre-rinsing the mop cloths, the vacuum leaves the station and starts working on the coffee stains. To be honest, there wasn't much of a battle. The stains surrendered immediately. 1 pass is enough for the main area. Along the baseboards, the vacuum needs to pass again. Only a small spot remains on the wall, which we'll consider a minor error. In other areas, there's no blind spot. However, in the corners, the Q Revo Curv missed about 1.2 inches. The result is good. Juice stains are a more difficult challenge, but the robot didn't notice any difference and handled them just as easily on the first pass, then just cleaned up around the perimeter on the second. With dirt on the stand, it will take a few more runs. Let's get ready for some more tests. First run. The robot picked up most of the dirt clumps. The dirt was smeared in circular motions across the stand. Second run. The vacuum continued collecting the dirt, and the stand started to brighten, but the tire tracks remained. By the third run, most of the dirt had been picked up. The surface looked more even, but streaks and clumps were still present. To remove them, the robot had to make 2 more passes. In the end, the Q Revo Curv completed the task, though there were a few small black dots left on the stand. The result is counted as successful, but the ultimate Tarantino test is the catch-up test. Let's see how many attempts it will take for the vacuum. First attempt, the robot made a few passes and spread the large red stain. On the second attempt, it continued to collect the tomato sauce. Notice how much moisture is on the stand. The vacuum's wetting intensity is perfect. Another 2 passes. The paper towels did most of the job, but they don't absorb well, which means the vacuum had to run again. Now the stand looks clean, especially considering the initial level of contamination. There are streaks right in front of the station and a couple of stray hairs left behind. The wet cleaning quality of Roborock Q Revo Curv is one of the best among the tested all-in-one models. If it had fine fiber cloths, the result would have been even better. But now the workday is over, and the vacuum heads back to base to clean its tired mop cloths. The self-cleaning lasts up to 3.5 minutes, and the noise level reaches 60 decibels. During rinsing, the station heats the water to 167 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the manufacturer's claims. It's technically impossible to check the water temperature, but you can feel the temperature of the cloths right after rinsing. It ranges from 77 degrees Fahrenheit to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the temperature. Depending on the selected mode, no significant difference has been found compared to previous models. You can check the differences in the self-cleaning modes in the table on the screen. After each test, the robot performed a deep self-cleaning. And here are the results it was able to show. Coffee turned the mop cloths a characteristic beige color. By the way, notice how evenly they are stained. The vacuum's contact with the floor is excellent. After rinsing at the station, the cloths are almost clean. Only the dirty edges remain. These could only be cleaned with hand washing and detergent. The difference before and after is noticeable. Juice left orange stains all over the cloths. After rinsing at the station, they look almost brand new. During hand washing, only a small amount of dirty liquid was squeezed out. Excellent result. After cleaning the dirt, the mop cloths turned brown, but there are still some gray patches visible. After rinsing at the station, the mops turned even in color, but they're not completely clean. Hand washing managed to remove both the cloths and some dirt, but a few rinses with brown water followed. The result in this test was weak. Ketchup is a problem for all vacuums, and the Q Revo Curv is no exception. After rinsing at the station, the cloths were dirty orange. They can only be cleaned with detergent, and even then they don't come out completely clean. However, comparing the cloths before and after shows the difference. Overall, the self-cleaning in the Roborock Q Revo Curv is at a medium level. It's sufficient for regular maintenance, but after dealing with stains, user intervention may be required. After rinsing at the station, the robot's mop cloths are filled with moisture. The test cloth immediately absorbs it. Let's return the vacuum to the station and start the drying cycle. The minimum cycle is 2 hours. The fan is almost silent, no more than 35 decibels. The manufacturer claims that the air temperature during drying is 113 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is pretty accurate. The thermometer measured 109 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a good result compared to competitors, but it's worth noting that the previous models of the Q Revo series heated the air up to 132 degrees Fahrenheit. Apparently, the engineers decided that was excessive and lowered the heating temperature. It didn't affect drying quality, though. After 2 hours, the cloths were fully dry. Let's summarize. The Roborock Q Revo Curv proved itself not just as a climber, but as an all-around performer. 18.5 kilopascals, a debatable claim, but the suction power is definitely high, and the robot still operates quietly. The result on laminate is perfect. In other tests, the performance was also good. The robot mops floors like a pro, even tackling tough stains. It detects obstacles well, and any minor errors can be fixed with software updates. The actual threshold height it can overcome is not 1.6 inches, but rather 1.2 inches, though this is still 1.5 times higher than most similar models. The vacuum will be indispensable in homes with furry pets, high thresholds, and complex navigation conditions. The main thing is to make sure there's at least 4 inches of space under your couch. That's all for today. Thanks for watching until the end and for liking the video. See you in the next reviews.